Hey everybody, DBSTCG Central here. Welcome to another deck profile video. If you guys saw today's thumbnail, you saw today we're doing whoosh, Super 17 Evil Entwined. So this is a set 5 leader. There's another Super 17 that came out in a later set. He was a yellow leader, and there was a bunch of support that actually went with that leader that actually works for this one. I came across it when I was looking for different builds for the Super 17. The Hellfighter 17 that just came out in set 20. And I found out that you could mix it with this leader and you can get a lot of cool stuff going on. So I decided to play test the build, and I did that, and it actually did really well. So I wanted to show you guys this deck profile. I think it's really strong, and I think it's competitive even now, and especially with Z battle cards and everything, you definitely have a lot of stuff you can do with this deck. So this is an old leader I used to use, like I was saying. So this guy is definitely still competitive. He's a real good choice if you want to be really rogue. So I'll show you the deck, and I'll start with the leader. All right, so on this side, he is Super 17. He has Burst 2, which means when he attacks, you put the top 2 cards of your deck into your drop area, and then you draw a card when he attacks. So his Awaken is when you're at 4 or less, you can choose 2 of your energy and switch him to active mode, which is pretty strong too. Untapping 2 energy is always really good. Um, and this guy is really cool. But so when you're at 4 or less life, you awaken, and when you awaken, you turn into Super 17 Evil Entwined. And on this side, he has Sparking 5. It's his auto. When this card attacks, you draw a card, and then this card gains critical for the turn. He's got an active main. When your opponent has 10 or more cards in their hand, your opponent has to discard cards until they have, let me see, until they have 9 cards left in their hand. So that's really good, especially with a lot of decks drawing a lot. You can definitely I've played I was playing Sen Shenron the last tournament, and the guy had like 15 cards in his hand. So like this card alone would take out like 6 cards right away from him. So automatically that's good. Never mind, he has got critical, so critical is really good to keep more cards out of his hand. So he's a really interesting leader, and with all this other support that I have for him, it's definitely a cool build. So I'll get it started. I'll start with the Z deck. So he is a green leader, so we run some green stuff here. Starting out, we run 2. I'm dropping some cards. Of this Frieza here. So Frieza Resurrected and Ambition. So it's got Deflect, Double Strike. It costs 2 energy, 1 Z energy. When this card is played, choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards with energy cost 5 or less and KO it. So just a little more removal. And then once per turn, you can place one of your Z energy in your drop area. When this card, when your other green cards attacks, energy cost 2 or more, then your opponent discards a card from their hand. So it's just a little extra double strike 15k if you want to get something out, be a little more aggressive, but also it KOs something. And then if you need to attack with a battle card for them to discard a card, that helps too. So definitely a good card to have in here. Just the discarding is really good. It's just so they don't get too ahead of themselves. Also, we run, because it is, if you saw the deck profile thumbnail, you saw that it's a green-yellow build. So we run some yellow cards like this guy here. We run one of these, SSB Son Goku Evolved Defender. So if you don't know what he does, he's got Deflect and Barrier. When this card is played, choose up to one of your opponent's leader cards, unison cards, or battle cards in rest mode, and they can't attack until the end of your opponent's next turn. So a little enfeeblement, which is really good. And then another auto here is if this card is in rest mode, when your opponent plays a card, you can place one of your Z energy in its owner's drop area. If you do, choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards or unison cards, switch it to rest mode, and negate its skills for the turn. So if you got some kind of pesky battle card that comes out that has some crazy abilities, you can negate its skills, but also it won't be able to, you would put it in rest mode, so it won't be able to attack you. So a little extra defense and a little enfeeblement. So this is definitely a really good card, and it's cool that we could play it in a deck like this, because usually it's kind of just aimed towards yellow decks, but we have a lot of yellow energy we use in here. So another card that we run is Jiren, the immovable. So this card here, he has deflect. When this card is played, choose up to one of your green battle cards with energy cost of 5 or less, and it can't be removed from your battle area for um, by your opponent's skills until the end of your next turn. So if they KO it, or if they do anything crazy like that, they won't be able to just because it negates that skill. All skills that get remove a battle card. Active main, limit 1, place any number of your Z battle cards in its owner's drop area. Choose up to one of your opponent's unison cards and remove a marker from it for each Z energy placed in the drop area by the skill. Additionally, if you place 2 or more Z energy in your drop area with this skill, this card gets 10,000 power and double strike. So it turns into a 25k double strike, and it has deflect when it comes out. So just some more added aggression if you need it. And also, if you need to get rid of a unison, remove some markers from it or whatever, this definitely helps a lot too. So our next card is kind of our barrier removal, and it is a promo from the set 20 pre-release. Right here, it's SS3 Vegeta, Terrifying Agent of Destruction. So this is really good. For 3 energy, it's barrier removal. It's got dual attack. It's a 20k. When this card is played, choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards, ignoring barrier, and KO it. Additionally, when you use this card, uh, this skill to KO a battle card in rest mode, this card gains critical for the turn. So it will be a dual attack 20k critical if you KO something that was already in rest mode. So going along the theme of critical, this really definitely helps a lot too, but also it's barrier removal when you need it. So it's definitely a good card to have in here. We also have some more barrier removal in the deck that I'll get to in a minute. Okay, first cards that I will show you on this deck is Infernal Messenger. This is a searcher. It's a 1-drop, and it really helps the deck out. Like, it's really, really good. I believe this is a set 5 card too. Active main, if your leader card is a green android card, look at the top 10 cards at the top of your deck, and then you can choose a total of 2 Android 17, Hellfighter 17, or Super 17 cards from among them and add them to your hand. And then you shuffle your deck. So this is good. It's not color specific. So you can do yellow ones, green ones. We don't run blue, but if there was blue ones or any other color, we could do any Super 17, Hellfighter 17, or Android 17. Really, really cool. And it's 2 of each. So for 1 card, getting 2 cards back that you need is actually really good for 1 energy. So those are the first ones. It's our searchers. They're really, really good. I only run 2 because we need space for other stuff in the deck. Okay, to start our chain, this was originally for the BT14, set 14 leader. First, it's a yellow 17. But we run this combo here with a pre-release, sorry. So Hellfighter 17, conceding to Union. We'll use a non-foil to read it. So it's got blocker. So turn 1 or whatever, if you want to play it, you want this, you can have this thing in your drop area. It's fine. It's a good blocker. It's good defense early game, but it's got an ability here. So Union absorb once per turn. If your leader card is a Super 17, which it is, and you choose 1 Android 17 card in your hand or drop area and place it under this card, play up to 1 mono yellow Super 17 card with energy cost 3 from your deck or drop area on top of this card, then shuffle your deck if you look through it. So this is a really good card, especially with this leader, because we're bursting. So if you happen to burst a mono yellow 3-drop Super 17, you could take it out of there, or you could take it from your deck. So it's really, really good. Or if you happen to burst an Android 17 and it goes into your drop, you can Union absorb with this. So it's really, really good. And even though you're bursting, you're not really losing out because you're actually using your drop area to play a lot of these cards. So that's our first Android. So next we have this guy here. So Android 17 conceding to Union. So this is kind of the one that pairs with this. They do very similar things. Instead of blocker, this one actually has barrier. So you can keep him on your battlefield for a turn. He'll be kind of safe. Same ability here, except you're using the other android. Union Absorb. Once per turn, if your leader card is a Super 17, which it is, and you choose one Hellfighter 17 card in your hand or your drop area and place it under this card, play up to one mono yellow Super 17 card with energy cost 3 from your deck, and then you shuffle your deck if you look through it. So with these 8 cards, you pretty much get your engine rolling really easily. And it's very consistent, especially because you're bursting. You're going to probably run into one of these no problem, and then you'll have one in your drop. But we also run other 17s and Hellfighter 17s that will probably get burst anyway that you can use instead of these guys. So the 3-drop Super 17 that we run is this one here. So this is Super 17 prepping for Union. So this is actually a really good card. So it's got barrier, as you can see, hardly with this glare. When this card is played with Union, you can draw 1 card. So when you do these abilities and then this guy gets played on top, you draw a card. This deck actually draws a decent amount. So it's actually pretty crazy. And then active main, limit 1. Limit 1 is basically, it's explaining what limit 1 is. But you could basically discard, if your leader card is a Super 17, which it is, and you choose this card and one other android in your hand and you discard them, you can look at the top 7 cards off the top of your deck, and you could choose up to 2 yellow androids with energy cost of 5 or less among them and add them to your hand from your deck, and then you shuffle your deck. So the searching is real. So you'll play one of these guys. You'll maybe burst first. You'll attack first to burst. And then you'll Union. And then this guy will come out from your deck or your drop area. So it's very, very consistent. And then when that happens, you draw a card. And then he has Barrier. He's a 9K, so it's not too crazy. You can't attack unless you want to kill some small things. But you want him just to stay on the board so you can do some shenanigans with this guy. But I had to get the foils. He's so good. And then, continuing on with the chain. Here, let me make some room over here. You have this card here. Super 17 Hellish Amalgamation. I can't even say the word. Amalgamation. So, Super 17, Deflect Dual Attack. You can EX Evolve for 1 yellow energy. If your leader card is a Super 17 card, you can evolve this onto a mono yellow Super 17 with energy cost of 3, which will be this guy. And he'll have barrier, so he'll be safe. So you most likely will have him out, and then this guy will come out for 1 energy, which is pretty crazy. Auto, when this card is played, you can choose up to 1 of your opponent's battle cards with energy cost 4 or less in rest mode and place it underneath this card and then draw a card. So once again, you're drawing a card. You're not really losing out. You're playing something and you're getting a card back, so you're not really losing cards from your hand. But also, if anything's in rest mode 4 or less, you can absorb it under this guy. So auto here, when this card is KO'd by your opponent's skill, play up to 1 mono yellow Super 17 card with energy cost of 3 from your drop area. So you're going to play this on top and evolve onto him. If he gets KO'd, this dies. This guy will pop right back onto the battlefield because he'll be under here. He gets KO'd and he gets put in the drop. So it's unbelievable how consistent and how pesky these things can be over here. So we'll put this guy over here. So that is the 5 draw. And then next up is kind of our boss monster, which is I run 4 of because he's not as searchable as everybody else, but you do draw a lot, so you will see him. So this one is Super 17 powers combined. So what this card does here, it's got Deflect and Triple Strike. So the Deflect makes it safe from counterplays. The Triple Strike makes them rugged. EX Evolve for 2 energy. If you're 2 yellow energy, if you have 4 or more energy, you can evolve this onto a yellow Super 17 with energy cost of 5, which would be this guy over here. So once you do that, he's got an active main. Once per turn, place 3 cards from under this card in their owner's drop area. Switch this card and up to 1 of your Super 17 leaders to active mode. So your leader will go back up, And when you attack, you can draw another card. And then it has critical, so that's really strong. And then also this guy gets untapped. And then you could attack again with another 25k triple strike, but he gets a little bigger than that. So place 3. So active main once per turn. Place 3 cards from under this card in its owner's drop. Switch this card and up to one of your Super 17 leaders to active mode. Then choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards in rest mode and place it underneath this card. This card gets 10,000 power for each energy cost in the battle with the battle cards placed underneath it. So say they have like a 5 or a 6 drop out and you absorb it because it's in rest mode. Everything underneath this card, which would be this guy, and then 2 of these, or depending on which ones you absorbed. We do have other ones that I'll show you in a minute in the deck. You would have 10k for each one of their energies. So 10k, so this would be a 5k, then 3k, a 1k, a 1k. Never mind what else you absorb underneath these cards. So if you have like you absorbed a 5 drop, or then when this 5 drop came out, you could absorb something else in rest mode. So it really pumps them up a decent amount, which makes them pretty crazy. Like I've gotten them up to 40k, which was absolutely insane. So a 40k triple strike deflect dual attack is nothing to gawk at. So definitely a crazy combo. And I found, like I said, I found all this stuff while I was doing research for the Hellfighter 17. I really didn't even know this stuff was available or out there for the Super 17 decks. So I was super shocked. So we run 4 of these huge boss monsters, really good, really good for the deck, and super powerful. He doesn't have barrier, but he does have deflect, so he's safe when he comes out. So if they can't handle it, they're taking a lot of damage if they can't combo out of it or negate it. But like I said too, with this leader, it restands the leader too, and he gets critical and draws another card when he attacks, so it makes him super strong. And then yeah, it's just great. And then like if they get too many cards in their hand, you bring it all the way down to 9 cards. So it's an excellent leader. So another card that we run is actually a TP card. Works really well with this deck and this combo. So this is Super 17 Relentless Absorption. So this actually has successor for 1 energy. It could be a green or a yellow. It's got energy exhaust because it's dual color. But if your leader is a android and you have 4 or more energy, you may place up to 1 cell card from your deck or drop area. What is it? You may place 1 cell card from your deck or drop area under this card. If you do, choose up to 1 Super 17 cell absorbed or Super 17 Hellstorm Unleashed in your deck or hand, and play it with its keyword skills negated for the turn, and then you shuffle your deck after you look through it. So some more shenanigans. This guy is a 3-drop, so you could easily just you could bring out this guy. You could play another one of these. Once you play one of those for 1 energy, you could play one of these from your drop area or from your deck on top of him. And he's got barrier, so he's kind of safe when he's out. And then turn 4, you play this guy for 1 on top. Successor him, he goes into your drop. And once he's in your drop, you can use him again with these abilities and stuff like that, because you could play it from your drop. And then you go and get our next boss monster with its keyword skills negated. But I'll show you the trickery. So there was 2 options. You had the cell absorbed, and then you had this guy coming up right here. I'll put this guy back. And I did not go for the cell absorbed because the keyword skills are negated. So this guy here, Super 17 Hellstorm Unleashed. Now, I run 3 so that we definitely see him when we have to do this ability. He's got critical, which would be negated when you played it with this ability. He's got energy exhaust because he's dual color, and he has successor 3. So if you don't want to use this combo, you could spend 3 energy. And then if you can mop up something with 9, like this guy's an 8-drop, and then you play another one of these, you could play this guy no problem with successor. Or you got a 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. You could do whatever like combo and numbers and stuff you need if you want a successor. But most of the time you're playing them with this card here. So when he comes out, his keyword skills are negated. So his critical energy exhaust technically and his successor will be negated, but his autos would still be able to be used. So when you play this card, choose cards in your opponent's life and place. Wait. Yeah, so when you play this card, choose cards from your opponent's life and place them into the drop area until they only have 4 left. So if they're being very defensive and you're on turn 4 and they still have like 6 life or something like that, it'll automatically bring them to 4 life. Additionally, there's his other auto here. When this card attacks, draw 1 card and then choose up to 2 of your opponent's cards and switch them to rest mode. Now it says cards. So you could tap their 2 energy. You could tap some battle cards, some blockers. You could tap their leader or their unison. So you have many options. You could tap anything on their battlefield that's untapped. I always go for energy. If they have 2 energy open, I'll use 2. I'll do 2 of their energy so that they cannot negate. They can't do anything. You really kind of enfeeble them by doing that. So unless they have some free plays or they have ways around it without using their energy, it's crazy. So when this card comes out, it is a monster powerhouse. And you draw a card also when this comes out. So it's really strong. It's a good turn 4 play. And like I said, you burn whatever many life they have down to 4 too, which makes it crazy. So with that alone, so usually I'll try to turn 4. I'll have enough energy to do all of it. I'll make sure I have one of these guys out. And then I will usually have the 5 drop out. And then I'll evolve the 8 drop onto the 5. And then before I attack or anything, I'll do this onto another one of these or its successor. So if I have 3 of anything else out, like our next guy, he's a 3 drop here. But play him for 1 energy, and then you have a 3 to successor onto, and then you can just play this guy. So that's for 1, 2, 3, 4 energy on turn 4. If you haven't awakened, you can awaken, and then you'll untap 2 energy. So it's absolutely bonkers, the combos you can get out of this. It's super, super powerful. And then I'll attack with this guy. I'll tap their energy down, and then I'll dual attack with like a 40k triple strike. But first I'll attack with my leader and untap my leader because he has critical. So it's harder for them to deal with that. You know what I mean? So then we have these guys. These really help with successor, but it also helps for if our union absorb. So if we burst these into our drop area, this is a Hellfighter 17 that you can absorb with this guy just for added consistency. So it's not just these guys that you're able to absorb. You could absorb this guy or the next card I'm about to show you. But this is a set 20 card here. For 1 green energy, if your leader is a green Super 17, which it is, or a Hellfighter 17. It's not, but we use the first one. And you have a Android 17 card in play. You can play this card from your hand. That's it. That's simple. For 1 energy, you got a 3 drop that you can successor onto or whatever. It also has an ability here. If your leader card is a green Super 17 card or a green Hellfighter 17, and you place 1 green non-Hellfire card from your Z energy into your drop area, you can put this into your Z energy. So if you use any card from your Z energy and you put it in your drop, this guy will just go right into your Z energy, so it'll replace itself. It's a big part of the other Hellfire deck, but this works great in this deck. I'm thinking of bumping it to 3 just because it's a 3 drop for successor. So we'll see how that goes. So that's a Hellfighter, and then we have some more Super 17s. I'm sorry, Android 17s, which helps with more consistency. Also, it's one of our negates, so it's also very strong. So here we have Android 17, Impending Crisis. It's a counterattack. You counter it and you play this card. Auto, if your leader is a Android card, when you play this card, choose up to 1 battle card with energy cost of 4 or less and Android in its name, and then you can put it into your drop area and then shuffle your deck. So this helps with consistency too. You don't have to do it, but if you want to filter your deck and thin out your deck, you can put certain cards that I'll show you into your drop. So this one here does not have Android in its name. So this one won't be doable, but there's plenty of other ones I'll show you in a minute. So really good tech here. And like I said, this helps with the consistency. So like a total of 4, 5, 6, and then it's 7. Sorry, yeah, 4, 5, 6, and then a total of 8 of these guys. Just makes it super consistent. So I'm like I said, I'm gonna probably jack this up to one more, just because I want the consistency to be perfect. The bursting, it helps it so much. Like you accidentally put one in, you're good to go. Like same with one of these, you burst one of these, you're fine because you could just play the Hellfighter, and then it would absorb with this Union Absorb, and then you wouldn't have to worry about it. Which keeps these in your hand to keep doing the combo even more. For some more added consistency, I have 2 of these guys because we do awaken at 4 life. If your opponent's kind of like being controlling and not attacking you, this is a great self awakener here. Android 15 Vicious Vendetta. So it's got an auto here. If your leader card is green, at the end of battle in which this card was used in a combo, I think it cost 1, yeah. So it's a 1 combo cost. At the end of turn in which this card was used in a combo, sorry, it's so shiny. From your hand, you can play this card in rest mode. So you pay 1, you use this in a combo, and then it comes into play. So choose 1 or 2 cards. This is the other auto. Choose 1 or 2 cards in your life and add them to your hand. When they play this card during your opponent's turn, which is what I like to do, you can choose up to 1 of your green energy and you can switch it to active mode. So this is basically a free 10K combo. You can take 1 or 2, up to 2 life to self-awaken. You can only take 1. You have to take 1, but you can take 2 if you need to. To your hand from your life, and then you untap an energy. So you won't have to worry about wasting energy on this card because it's just absolutely free on your opponent's turn. So this is just the health with self-awakening, and it's really, really strong. Really, really strong. So we'll put that guy right there. And that is not it for the androids, but that's it for like the main chain and getting the deck working flawlessly. The rest of the stuff is all like tech space that I decided to use. And there's plenty of tech that can fit in here because it's not that big of an engine. And we already got our boss monster and everything like that. So first thing is we'll do our super combos. Let me see. Super combos, we did sell the Awakened. So with this card here, well, let's get to this so we can read it because the other ones are shiny. It's a super combo, and if your leader card is green or yellow at the end of battle in which you comboed with this card from your hand, you could play this card from your drop area. So 10K combo, always live. There's no life restriction or anything like that. You would combo with it. It would go to your drop, and then you would be able to play it, and then you can combo with it again, another 10K. So it's very defensive. Also, if you need to play something for free to help with successor or something like that, like 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, or 8, 9, whatever you need to do to use successor, you can also. But it is absolutely bonkers because you can get 2 super combos out of it. So these count as like pretty much 8 super combos if they don't kind of remove them from the battlefield or anything like that. So really, really strong. And it's green, yellow, so it fits everything. And it's a cell. So with this card here, you would need a cell to absorb from your drop area or your deck for you to get into this guy. Because this guy is Super 17 with cell absorbed. So this fits the bill like perfect. So really, really cool. So we'll put those over here for those super combos. Next is some of our floodgates. We run 2 Majin Buu, Unadulterated Malice. So if you don't know what this does, it's a counterattack. You pay 2, you play the card. And then if you want to, you can discard a card. And when you discard a card, your opponent, every time they attack, they have to discard 2 cards from their hand. So most of the time they will not, especially with your leader's ability, bringing their cards down to 9. Or if they're defending themselves a lot, they won't have too many cards in their hands. So this is definitely a very good card. And if you need to get something in your drop, it's not that big of a deal. Like if you need a 17 in your drop or a Hellfighter in your drop, this helps facilitate that easily. So you could go into another one of these. So it's really cool. This deck is really, really consistent and it plays really, really nice. That's why I'm really fond of it. So for our negates, we needed some hard negates. Also, we needed kind of a little bit of self awakening just in case. So I did homicidal clones. I might bump this to 2 and then add some of the sparking negate, the green sparking negate, because we do get sparking 5 very easily because we are bursting. But this card here, if you don't know what it does, you can pay 2 energy, or if your life is at 5 or less, you could take a life, play this card, and then negate the attack, and then you could play a homicidal clone, which is a token that has blocker. So this can pretty much prevent 2 attacks, possibly, depending if they mess with your blocker or anything like that. But most of the time, they don't. So you would negate with this, hard negate for free, and then you would get down to 4 life if you needed to, and then you could awaken from there. So definitely helps with consistency and everything like that. And free negates, you really can't complain. It's really, really good. And our barrier removal. So this has dual function in here, but it's Cell Devourer of the Masses. This thing is a crazy powerhouse. If you can run this card, if you're playing green yellow, you should always run it. So I'll tell you what it does. It's got successor for 1 green, 1 yellow, which you'll always have because turn 1 you're charging a multicolor. But then it's got an auto here. When you play this card with successor, choose up to 1 of your opponent's battle cards, ignoring barrier, KO it. Doesn't matter what size. And then your opponent chooses 1 card in their hand and places it in their drop area. So you're KOing anything with barrier, and then they're discarding a card. As another auto here, when this card is removed from the battle area by an opponent's skill or KO'd, draw 3 cards. So if this is getting removed in any way, like attacked into, removed any other way, you draw 3 cards, which is nuts. And it's a 25k attacker. So they're going to want to get rid of it, or they're going to have to keep dealing with a 25k. And then you're going to just draw 3 cards afterwards. So it's nuts. Also, it is a cell. So if you have it in your drop and you need it for this ability here on this guy to get this guy out, you can use that ability no problem from your drop, because once it's in your drop, you really can't use it anymore. So super good card. I was actually thinking about putting these in instead, but it's an Android too, so it's searchable. I was gonna do these new TP cards, the Brienne de Show or whatever it's called. Elegant Fighter. This is one of the new TP pack, and it's basically a 2-drop barrier removal. But this guy is just so good, and it's in color if you need to charge it, green yellow. So it's an excellent, excellent card. Counterplays, we have Focused Breakthrough. We do go to 4 life, and we do play multicolor cards. So this card here, if you don't know what it does, counterplay, if your leader card is green and your life is at 4 or less, if the battle card being played has an energy cost of 3 or less, it is placed in its owner's drop area instead of being played. This is in case they throw a floodgate on you, or they try to negate with like a battle card. You can literally make it not hit the battlefield, so the negate wouldn't go through, and then you can just continue on with your dual attack, triple strike, 40k or whatever. Also, if you have a multicolored card in your energy, which you always do because you charge when turn 1, and your life is at 4 or less, you can activate this card's counter skill from your hand by adding a card from your life to your hand and playing instead of paying the energy cost. So if you're out of energy because you tapped out to go for game or something like that, and then they try to topo you or something like that, you could just play this for free by taking a life and then just continue on going for game. So really strong there. Counterplays for that handle floodgates are always wicked good, like the best thing you could have. And then some other cards that we have in here that just help out the deck. Another Android card here. Android 13 Cybernetic Onslaught. So if you don't know what this does, you can arrival it for 1 yellow, and it's a 15k attacker. But it has a permanent here that says if there are 3 or more Android cards in your drop area, negate this card's energy exhaust skill in all areas. So because we're bursting and all we're running is androids, as you can see, This is always live. So turn 2, turn 3, when you need to put in a multicolor energy, this is a free multicolor energy that comes in untapped into your energy area. So it's super, super strong. And also, active battle, once per turn, choose up to one green or yellow android card in your combo area, and it gets another 5k combo power for the battle. So that's if you do end up playing one for one yellow energy to be a little more aggressive. You all your once per turn, one of your androids you combo with will get another 5k. So it could turn a 5k into a 10k. It could turn a 10k like this guy here. It could turn a 10k like this into a 15k combo. So this guy is really good, but mostly used for energy. But if you do need to play him to get a little extra value out, then it's not a big deal at all. So that is the deck, except for the secret rare, which I think you guys could guess what it's going to be. It is boom, Cell Xeno, Unspeakable Abomination. So if you don't know what this does, I do have the original, but I have it tucked away. I got this one out of a different pack. This is the reprint. It's ultimate deflect, energy exhaust, and as successor. So it's a free successor. You just need to have up to 12 energies worth of guys out here, but you can do that easily. You have 8, 9, 10, 11, and then you drop another one of these or whatever, a 5, whatever. There's so many different numbers out here where it's not hard to play this guy at all. So when you successor him, his auto is if you have 5 or more energy. So you want to wait till you have like 5 or more energy. When this card is played, choose up to 3 of your opponent's cards in their hand, and they discard them. Then this card gains quadruple strike and dual attack. So it's a dual attack, triple strike. But what I do is this guy here, he's a 9-drop, and then I'll use one of my 3 drops like this guy or this guy. So I'll be 9, 10, 11, 12, and I'll play this guy. I do try to wait to turn 5 because turn 4 we really pop off, and then if you survive or that you don't kill him at that turn, the next turn it's like game over because you'll have this guy in your hand. So it is super, super strong. But that is my spicy green yellow Android 17 deck. This deck was totally on accident. Like I said, I was looking for Hellfighter support for the new deck for BT20. And I came across this and I was like, holy crap. And I just kind of like thumbed it together real quick. And I'm like, wow, I'm like, actually, this stuff is super, super strong. And then I play tested a little bit. And then I was like in disbelief how it was running because it runs amazing. So consistent. You're doing shenanigans for days. The successor, never mind, but you have the barrier removal. You have so much removal in general. And then you have barrier removal in your Z deck. And then you have unison removal. You have counterplays. Everything you could imagine. So it's very, very strong. You got floodgates, free negates. So it's really, really cool. It's fun to play. And it's very powerful. But that's the deck. I hope you guys like this. It's kind of like a homebrew. I don't think I've seen a deck like this ever built. I might have seen a few that are close, but not like this. This is just different. I think it's like a whole different. If somebody built this deck, please tell me. I don't know. I think I'm the creator of this one, but it is super strong. So if you guys want to dabble around with it and play around and check it out, if you see if there's different ratios that might be a little bit better, just let me know because I'm falling in love with this deck slowly. But yeah, so I hope you guys like the deck profile. I'm DBS TCG Central. I do have a Facebook, Instagram, and eBay. I'm going to leave links to everything in the description below. Also, feel free to subscribe, like, and comment. It always helps the channel out so I can keep doing more deck profiles and more content. I do versus videos. I do pack opening videos and things like that. But people have been begging for deck profiles, so I'm definitely going to start building a lot more. And I do have another one coming out soon. Probably by Friday I'll have it out. And then I have some more BT20 stuff that I'm going to build and show you guys too. So guys, thanks again for the support. And then let me know what you guys think about this deck because I'm in love with it. All right, I'll see you guys on the next one. Thanks.